Let's go back to a time when your video games, you could see all the dots on the screen.
Yeah, isn't that because the pixels were like this big?
Exactly. So the pixels
So
were
it's
sort of
just
like...
kind of like, and then you fill in like, this is how it works. Watch. Okay, I need a bunch of squares drawn. Wait, so,
I don't think
wait, say they wanted to draw a line, it looks like this.
Exactly.
See, now our pixels are tiny, so it kind of like, they're so beautifully close, it just looks
It
like,
looks continuous, exactly.
It looks like
you know what? In mathematics, you could do this thing where this line here. Well, remember when we had our normal square like this, and we went out, what did we really say? We really said that dot was the same as that dot.
oh yeah, so this one's the same as this one, this one's the same as this one, and this one.
I've drawn that extra row at the top and right, just to remind us that when we go off, we come back. So the open dots are sort of imaginary dots. So that is actually the same as that one. That one's actually the same as that one. What does a line look like if it's not continuous anymore? If I've just got dots on a screen? Well, it's kind of got to be a collection of dots. And you know what? Here's the thing. We're going to draw a normal line, and then we're going to look at where it intersects those dots, and we're just going to pick out those dots. So when I draw a line here, I can do this thinking thing where I think about the line as sort of like that, and then it'll go up here. And so I know that this line, every time it goes across
like
2, it goes up 1. So it goes across 2, goes up 1. So it goes across 2 means goes across to there, go up 1, go across 2, goes up 1.
Wait.
Now it's going to come out, hold on baby. It's going to go across, so now it's going to get back to the beginning. Does that make sense? Yeah. So lines are just a collection of points. Think of it as the collection of points that an actual line would go through. Green that I've got is a helpful thing to remember where the lines are going to be. So, but this green line is actually only this point. When the old computer thought about it, it actually only thought about that point, that point, that point, that point, and that point. Right? Now, curiously, each line intersects every other line exactly once. Remember, the intersections away from grid points don't count. Because it's not really a point. There is no point there. Intersects with, so the green and the red line intersect how many times?
Twice.
But is that actually a point?
No.
That's not a point. This is just like our helpful thing. This point's on both lines. At least in our 1980s video game version of the world, that intersection point is not a point in the space that we're thinking about. Only the grid points. They're the only ones we want to think about. Remember, this line here that we're drawing is just a crutch to try and help us remember which points are actually on the line. The line on our 1980s video game is just a collection of points at the intersection of the grid and that line. Alright, it's not quite true that every 2 lines are going to intersect. We still have the same problem we had before. We could have parallel lines. But if we have parallel lines, we know what to do. We're just going to add extra points onto every line corresponding to the slope of the line. And remember, what did we want to do when we said parallel lines? We said we imagine that they have an extra point way out here.
But does the computer imagine that?
Well, so this is what I'm saying. This is where it's going to get a little bit like our heads are going to explode. But imagine that the computer doesn't just have these lines. It doesn't just have those points. It also has the one point corresponding to the slope of those lines. So these 2 lines here, they're just going to both have one extra point corresponding to the slope, 0. Now, every pair of lines intersect in exactly 1 point. Alright, have a play around with it yourself, but you know what? I'm going to do something extra. I'm going to let you change the number of points in the grid. And I'm going to let you see if you can find some lines that intersect in more than 1 point. Go on, see how you go.